Houston, it's hot, and we're forced to go out and show our support for our teams in the worst of weather and the worst of circumstances. Man, look at the Oilers. We probably gotta be the only team that got beat with the team that left us for. That's like getting in a fight with your ex's new boyfriend and getting beat up. But as Houstonians, we take the worst of the worst.
What's going on? I'm Richard Jefferson. This is the Sports Gap. Let's have some fun. This past weekend, UCF kicker Daniel Obarski, and I just don't understand why kickers always have last names like that. He missed a kick for the win with 18 seconds left to go on the clock. He was naturally upset. He was so upset that he punched the fence. And that's not all. The team's backup quarterback confronted him and the two had to be separated. Like, come on, you're the backup QB. You're an offensive coordinator, Crozier. You guys know that line, I'll give you $1. And look, he wasn't done with that fence.
Obarski seems to be inconsolable right now.
Here's an inconvenient truth. Guys have to get better at channeling their anger. Literally, there is an entire corner of the internet filled with memes dedicated to guys named Kyle punching drywall and crushing Monster energy drinks. According to scientists in an article called "You Punch a Hole in a Wall, Here's Why," when men are not allowed to express a full range of emotions, no walls are safe. Scientists found out something interesting also. In an experiment designed to intentionally provoke anger in participants, they are allowed half of them to hit a punching bag afterwards. And what were the results? People who were able to blow off steam were actually angrier and more aggressive as a result. The only thing punching did was make you more pissed off. This is the myth of catharsis-is. And I fucking hate that word. The idea that releasing anger and aggression helps people manage it. Blowing off steam is great in theory. The problem is that according to science, it doesn't work. It just makes more steam. But it still has to feel a little good though, I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of catharsis, I think we all got a good taste of some good old-fashioned catharsis courtesy of Mark Cuban. All is not well deep in the heart of Texas, apparently. Senator Cruz became the latest in a line of politicians and public personalities to highlight the lower than normal NBA ratings with the vaguely catchy saying, "Go woke and go broke." What was Mark's response? You gotta like this. A US senator with 3 NBA teams in his state, employing thousands of people, and he is rooting for their businesses to do poorly. This is who you are, Ted Cruz. Every minute of your life, this is exactly who you are. Now, though, those are Mark Cuban's responses. I'm not a billionaire, so, you know. A lot of conservative pundits are desperate to see the NBA fail now that players have shown that they're not afraid to call out injustice. But context makes a huge difference. We've been saying this on this show since we started. According to sportsmediawatch.com, the NBA finals this year were in fact down 49%. But so was nearly every other sport. The US Open final and the Preakness were both down 56%. You don't hear Ted Cruz trying to start shit with the NHL after the lowest Stanley Cup ratings in a long time. Their viewership was down 61%. But no one is saying that the NHL is over. The NBA is going to be just fine. Another inconvenient truth if you were hoping to dance on the league's grave. Who else is even telling you this story? No one. You know why? Because they're not us. They're not the Sports Gap. The most successful couple in sports, Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird, recently highlighted an inconvenient truth about the world discussing the popularity of women's soccer versus the WNBA. In an article previewing the WNBA finals, Rapinoe asserted her belief that it is due in part to the way that women's soccer has been marketed. They're the white girls next door. Her words, not mine. The straight, cute, non-threatening suburban white girls next door to be exact. Her all-world basketball girlfriend, Sue Bird, added this in a CNN interview with Don Riddle.
Problem is how society and how the outside world is willing to accept the cute girl next door, but not willing to accept or embrace or, I guess not judge these basketball players who are tall, black, gay. That's kind of, to me, where the issue is. What I feel like I've learned throughout that process is you have to be who you are. You have to be true to who you are and authentic.
The inconvenient truth is, she's right. A bunch of short white girls versus a group of tall women of color who are openly identify as LGBT. They're taller, and I guess that makes them a little bit more intimidating as a result. But let's talk facts. Want to guess which of these were one of only 3 sports to see their viewerships go up in 2020? Guess who it was? The WNBA. which is great to see because that means there is hope that the game will continue to grow. Something you want to see happen when you marvel at the career that Sue Bird has had. That's crazy. They both played 17 seasons, won 4 titles. The big gap between the two of them is the pay discrepancy. It's regrettable, but if viewership can keep trending upwards, perhaps the wage gap can get crushed too. That's the type of catharsis I think we would all welcome. Speaking of catharsis, I hate that fucking word. This is what happens when you take a creative writing course at Princeton. Thanks, Rob. Anyone else feel like this? First of all, I had Derrick Henry in all 40 of his points. I understand what Deshaun Watson was doing. Look at this. The image sums up Houston sports of late. Think about Houston's run recently. The Astros won the World Series in 2017. J.J. Watt got Walter Payton Man of the Year in 2017 and all of this hardware. James Harden won the MVP in 2017 and 18. And think about how good the Astros were individually in 2015. Carlos Correa won the Rookie of the Year. Jose Altuve won the AL MVP in 2017, in addition to the SI Sports Illustrated Person of the Year, the Hank Aaron Award, the batting title, and everything else. But now, shit's done changed. The Astros got caught banging on trash cans, and the players, they said they were sorry, but look, let's keep it 100. Their apologies were shit, and it's frustrating because look, this team was so good, they probably didn't have to cheat to win. That's why they stayed so cocky about it. The Astros almost came back from down 3-0 in the ALCS. Major League Baseball must have been crapping themselves, thinking about how cocky the Astros would have been had they pulled this off, and how annoying they would have been if they would have beat the Dodgers in the World Series again. Could you imagine that nightmare? This is like the Patriots winning after Deflategate. If the Dodgers lost again, they would be the Buffalo Bills of baseball, and nobody wants to be that. That's actually one alliteration that I'm okay with, the Buffalo Bills of baseball. This is a visual representation of everyone who was rooting for the Devil Rays. To put the Astros scandal in perspective, lots of people cheat, especially in baseball. We know their names. I'm not gonna say Barry Bonds did steroids, didn't steroids, but I'll say this, the man was a Hall of Famer when he was Skinny Barry. Players have said, I'd rather face a guy on steroids than a guy who knows what pitch is coming. Oddly, this wasn't the only dumpster fire burning in Houston. The Texans recently fired their head coach and GM after an abysmal start. If you're a Texans fan, it must suck. It must really suck seeing a Pro Bowl wideout like DeAndre Hopkins having success with another young quarterback in Arizona after Bill O'Brien traded him away in the offseason. That's gotta sting a little bit, and the Cardinals are having a great year. He could still be catching balls from Watson, who despite having no offensive line, still found a way to do things like this.
Watson, and he goes down. No, he stays on his feet, throws on the run, touchdown! Watson, a magician!
Oh, but wait, we're not done, Houston fans. Let's not forget about the Rockets and the tweet heard round the world, and how things all fell apart there. According to multiple sources, the tweet cost the league hundreds of millions of dollars as Chinese sponsors cut business ties, and the Rockets, they were banished from a country of 1.4 billion people. I was in China when this happened. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if basketball was going to happen. My boss basically said, hold on, we might have an issue. We didn't even know if we would get into the country. Everything was shut down because of a tweet. Fast forward to today, the Rockets lost Mike D'Antoni, their innovative head coach, and Daryl Morey just stepped down as a GM, citing a desire to be with his family. In trading and building around James Harden, he changed the way the game was played. Did they reach their goal? No. But the game was changed forever, making small ball and threes the focal point of a franchise he spent 13 years with and forcing the league to follow course. When the Rockets broke the record in 2015, three-pointers accounted for 39% of their shots. This season, three-pointers accounted for 38% of the league's shots. Look, Houston, I understand. I feel your pain. You guys were on top. Just 3 years ago, you guys were the talk of the entire country. Your sports teams were dominating. You had a heck of a run. But I understand now that if you just want to punch the wall and just forget about everything that's been going on. You have to appreciate these moments, especially in Los Angeles right now. Maybe the Clippers didn't live up to the hype with Kawhi and PG. We're going to miss Doc. But it's been a pretty great time to be an LA fan. The Rams have a killer new stadium. Ballmer is building a brand new stadium for the Clippers in Inglewood. Heck, the Clippers still have two of the best players in the league. The Lakers just won the chip, and the Dodgers are in the World Series. Remember, LA fans, this is a great time for you in all of your sports. Shit, even the Chargers are worth watching right now. Embrace it. Talk to your dad, watch a ball game, because we know this shit does not last. Things fall apart very quickly. Ask any Houston fan. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Sports Gap.
If you want new episodes as soon as they drop, go subscribe to The Sports Gap on YouTube.